Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
And it was wrong. It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call.
Bad call.
Some are good for fighting, others for dying.
It's Just Two Movies.
Welcome back to another episode of It's Just Two Movies. I'll be your captain, Daniel King. We're going to be flying at about 30,000 feet into Cancun, Mexico. Is Cancun in Mexico? I'm so bad at geography. Okay, yeah. So this is summer break. We're doing our summer break series. If you're not familiar with how we do it, first of all, on the show, we watch a good movie and then we watch a bad movie or something that's reviewed poorly that has something in common with the good movie. We do a generally lighthearted, funny approach to a review, I think. A little bit of improv comedy in there. But for summer break, because the long form of our show is sometimes 2 hours long, we make sure and cut it in half so we can, enjoy ourselves a little more. Summertime, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take a break.
Do other stuff.
Yeah, but we're in the content mind. No, I'm sorry. We're in the content mind. We're getting you content. We're shoveling it out.
Yeah.
It goes in your butts or wherever you guys put it. In your ear holes, in your buttholes.
Probably just the ear holes.
You're consenting adults. You do wherever you want to put your content. That's where it goes. Just some of it you can't post on Instagram or you get, shadow banned or just straight up banned.
Right.
Yeah. I know a lot of you have actually sent me messages on Instagram saying that you got locked out of your account. You needed to send me a text message. And I've tried to be as accommodating as I possibly can. I'm joking, but I think that's a good bit because I do get like one every couple of days.
Oh, shit.
All right. Yeah. So we're doing summer break.
Summer break, baby.
So normally for summer break, we try to pick stuff that's lighter, a little bit breezier, maybe not as depth. We're not doing any deep dives into cinematic gold and deep, rich characterizations or any of that. We're not doing any of that shit.
Right.
We're not doing. There's no Gowan.
Come here,
Lock in LA. There's none of that. We're just doing some cheeky fun films and some other stuff that's some of it no doubt will be bad and some of it might be pretty good actually. So
yeah. And for this first episode, it is your pick.
It was, yeah. So I'm not going for blow your doors off. I'm not going for fucking rocking your world. I'm not even trying to blow your mind.
Okay.
Or your dick. What I was trying to do is for you to watch a movie that I recommended and go, I haven't seen this. And then you watch it and then you're like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, without trying to knock it out of the park, you knocked it out of the park.
Yes. Well, because I watched this once, I don't know, but I think it was maybe right before we started doing this podcast or shortly after. And I was like, it was real light. It was real breezy. We just kind of put it on as something to have playing on in the background. Alicia and I both got kind of sucked into it.
Wait, did we say the name of the movie?
Oh, so we got kind of sucked into it. And I remember watching the whole film and I don't remember a whole lot of details about it, but I remember when it was over, I was like, man, I like that. That was fun. It was breezy and I liked it.
Yeah.
So I picked the movie this week and I picked Save Yourselves with an exclamation point. It is is it a Hulu original? I don't think so, but it's on Hulu. It is a rated R 2020 sci-fi comedy, hour 33 runtime, pretty breezy. A 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb, 89% Rotten Tomatoes, 67% on Metacritic, which I tend to think is high for Meta. 71% of Google users like this movie. As directed by Alex Houston Fisher and Eleanor Wilson.
Oh, double direct?
Mm-hmm. A little double direct, a little double penetration, if you will, a little DP.
Okay.
A little double partistic vision. This stars Sunita Mani, John Paul Reynolds, John Early, and John Early's fucking hilarious. Ben Sinclair, Joe Firestone, Amy Sedaris, and Gary Richardson. Barely. Pretty much this entire movie is Ben Sinclair, John Early, John Paul Reynolds, and Sunita Mani. Sunita Mani, thank you.
Yeah.
Primarily, it's just Sunita
Those
Mani,
two, yeah.
John Paul Reynolds, and a bunch of like fluffy balls.
You can just say John Reynolds.
John Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works. You can shorten it up a little bit.
Just to kind of cut it down for summer break, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Just got to cut that content down. So what would you tell the good folks this was? Well, did you find the budget for it?
I couldn't find a budget for this.
I got box office like $300,000.
Yeah, because I think it was pretty much always intended to stream this. Like, it's an indie film. It didn't get really like a big, box office release.
Oh,
so.
for sure.
This is about a couple that intends to unplug, so to speak, from the internet, from just kind of everything. Mm-hmm. Go out in the woods, go to a cabin, spend the week there, work on themselves. Meanwhile,
aliens invade.
Wow. So that's this film.
Yeah,
in a nutshell.
That is pretty much it. If this is your first time tuning into the show, we are going to go full tilt spoilers on this movie. So if you have any interest in watching it, I mean, we're going to try to not ruin it, but also talk about it. So there's kind of a fine line we're dancing there. If you want to watch it, it's a good time to pause it. Go check the movie out. Again, stream it on Hulu if you have a Hulu subscription or don't mind watching a shitload of commercials. I'm sure it's on there for free.
Let's get into it.
I immediately like these two.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things for me about this film is how this couple works. Mm-hmm. And they just work. They feel like an authentic, genuine couple.
They really do. Yeah, they do feel very authentic and just endearing. Both of them are endearing. You're like, oh, look at you.
Look at these cuties.
Look at these little cutie pies. That's kind of the vibe for this, though.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, it's just a light, breezy, it's a pretty fun film.
Yeah, and Sue is kind of a workaholic, and Jack is obsessed with his bread.
Sourdough.
His sourdough. He loves a good sourdough. They're having like a date night. They're going out to a party to meet some old friends or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's like I don't know if it was like somebody got married and then it's like the after party. I really don't remember. But yeah, it's something like that.
So do you think the better way to do this is for us to just sprint through it? Or for us to just go, as a quick summation with all the spoilers, here's what happens, and then go back and just talk about the parts that we liked?
What do you think?
I think the latter.
Okay.
Yeah, so they go to this party, they're catching up with some old friends. One guy's like, I was in Peru doing things for, making surfboards out of 3D printed algae or some shit.
Raph.
Yeah, and he's like, oh man. He's like, it makes me want to, did you see his hands? Wow, they looked weathered. I want to be a man. I want to learn how to be a man. She's like, I want to work on myself too. We'll be collectively better. So they take their friend Raph up on this opportunity to like go stay in a cabin. He's restoring for his uncle or some relative.
Something like that, yeah.
So they pack up their shit. Sue loses her job right before they leave.
Yeah, which is super shitty. Like, I don't know.
Right, because evidently Jack's got money. She's like, it's in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So they throw like the perfect amount of shade at each other.
The whole time,
but like you can tell they're always kind of holding back a little bit, except for every now and then you're like, damn, that's
cold.
That's heavy, baby.
Yeah. So they go out to this cabin, and as they're leaving a gas station or whatever to go out to this cabin, the viewer sees, a shot of the sky, and how would you explain that? It's like something. It's not quite falling. It's almost like float falling to the earth. So you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, that would be aliens. Yeah, I mean, just kind of looking at the cover art, you can tell it's like an alien sort of deal.
Right. Yeah.
But you know what, man? Aliens are a great opportunity in a film to kind of bend expectations.
Yeah.
Because aliens live not of this earth. So however they might be like, oh, what do they want? Well, really, want is a human construct. So, there's a lot of different angles you can go with aliens, and I think they went with a really funny one here. Like, I like the way that they went about it.
It's different.
Yeah, it is, and it was goofy.
It's different, it's goofy, and for me it really works because they don't have to go, well, why?
Right. Yeah, you don't need it. Just give them like 3 facts about them and let's move on.
You don't need to know why. Mm-hmm. Don't need to know why they're there.
No.
It's not really necessary for it to be a good story.
Communication's already down. These two aren't fucking scientists. They're barely anything. So they're out in the woods.
Yep.
They're trying to enjoy their vacation.
Work on themselves.
They're having some relationship tensions, I guess, just with like, we're trying to relax, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Like, that's not how one of them trying to make the other one do a thing. And he's like, well, I thought we were relaxing. That's not how I relax. Well, you're doing it wrong. Sort of shit.
The problem is before they left, she started writing all this shit down on how to save their relationship, but she got it all from the internet. So he's like,
you're still just you're just doing an internet list.
Yeah, we need to, if we're unplugging, that doesn't make sense, which I kind of agree with him there. And I kind of like I don't know if it was meant to be like this, but the title of the film, Save Yourselves, like, it goes both ways. Like, they're trying to save their relationship or whatever, work on their relationship.
Right.
And then you have a fucking alien invasion.
Yeah.
Save yourselves.
There's some clever stuff in here.
Yeah.
It's not like super highbrow kind of stuff, but it's got some nice little breadcrumbs, you know. I'm liking it.
For sure.
So these two guys, you're seeing them, they're out there, they're roughing it. They are okay. So where we are and where we grew up is, you would consider this, if you grew up in any sort of a city, you would consider where we're from country as fuck.
The woods.
Like, country as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super fucking country.
Yep.
I don't know a single person that doesn't own a pair of shit kickers. Those are boots, by the way. I don't know a single soul. Now, we're not super rednecky, you know what I mean? Well,
no, I mean, you look the part right now.
I'm dressed for the part. Yeah, it's the first day of summer break. I wanted to get in character.
You got to, yeah.
But this is rough. And where they're at, I'm like, that place looks like obviously probably because it's a movie set, but it looks not as rough as the woods that are in my backyard.
So I think it's supposed to be upstate New York.
Yeah.
Which I hear is just absolutely beautiful.
Supposed to be stunning.
Yeah.
Brutal winters, but absolutely stunning.
Right. Yeah, but like you said, they're roughing it because they're from the city. They're used to the city life.
Yeah, and they suck at it.
They they just do.
They're struggling to make a fire. Like, every single obstacle that gets put in their way, they are really struggling to get over the hurdle.
Right.
And it's charming because they're really pulling for each other. Yeah. You know what I mean?
They've got the spirit, you know what I mean?
They do have the spirit, even though they're just awful at it.
But eventually, throughout this, first 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you just get glimpses of, do you even see the alien? Well, yeah, because they see the poof.
Yeah, you see the poof.
And that's what she calls it, a poof.
Yeah, because it just looks like it looks like a little poofy footstool.
Yeah. You see glimpses of it.
It looks like a fat throw pillow.
Yeah.
Like a really, really fat, like, why would you own that? Because it's so hairy.
Yeah.
It looks like a really uncomfortable throw pillow.
Yeah. So we just get glimpses of that for a while. But eventually they figure out, oh shit, aliens have fucking invaded the Earth. And that's where it kind of starts getting pretty fun, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Once they realize that there's an actual alien invasion, the fun in this just gets cranked to 10. Yeah. It's just a blast watching them fucking freak out and panic and not be able to put rational fucking thoughts together and get upset with each other over nothing.
Right.
And their ineptitude, is that a word? Them being inept at the simplest task of planning their next step is a big part of the charm for all of this. So they decide they're going to get the fuck out of Dodge. They kind of happen upon a diesel vehicle, so the poofs, these aliens, they like methane. No, ethanol.
Ethanol.
They like ethanol, which is in tons of shit.
A lot of things.
Tons and tons of things.
Is it in the sourdough, though? Is that legit?
Well, yeah, yeast.
Because eventually it could. Yeah, that's right. Because it could turn if you let it sit long enough.
Fermentation can produce the fucking ethanol from it. They happen upon this diesel,
which is sweet, by the way.
It is sweet. That's like a fucking cool ass old Jeep looking.
It's a Land Rover, but is that like an OG Land Rover?
It's gotta be.
Like that looks like
it's gotta be. That's not. They didn't make that. That's not made in the last 20 years.
Right.
Ain't no way.
Right.
I think it's old as fuck.
It looks like a 70s.
It's pretty badass.
60s maybe?
Yeah.
70s model?
In pristine fucking shape.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they get in the thing and they're finding another car and there's like people and they're like, oh, we gotta fight the poof, and they're getting murdered by the poof. It's got a weird projectile tongue.
Yeah, and that's how it gets the ethanol from whatever.
It's got like a spike in a tongue.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Which is delightful to watch on screen. Like the effect of it shooting out and hitting stuff is
when they
fucking hilarious.
So when they stop, they see another vehicle, like you were saying, they stop. The fucking tongue, the way the poof kills those people.
Oh, savage.
It looked really good too.
Yeah. I imagine that's probably why they were like 30 or 40 feet off, is so it could look that good.
Right.
It might have not looked as great up close, but man, I thought it looked fucking pretty good.
Yeah.
For your alien monster just being a round furry ball.
Right. So the people in that other vehicle get killed. They're like, fuck it, let's just keep going. Mm-hmm. But then they hear a baby. There's
a baby in the back.
Ah.
They got to get the baby. I'm going to tell you this right now. Just to help you ease your conscience. If shit is going down, if it's fucking apocalypse now, just don't stop for the baby.
It's not your baby.
Don't stop for the baby. It's not your baby.
And that's what happens is...
It's exactly what happens.
So a lady was in the back of the
just
truck
hiding,
bed or whatever.
Just hiding in the bed.
She gets out, grabs a gun. She steals their diesel vehicle.
Right. So now they're
they didn't even know it was a diesel, by the way.
No,
but the lady's like, ooh, diesel vehicle. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm taking this shit.
Right, yeah.
She's like, I don't give a fuck about that. That's not my baby. I don't care.
Yeah, she's like, what about the baby? It's not my baby.
Yeah.
So who cares? Yeah, fucking out.
So they're stranded in the woods.
With a baby.
Right. And its name is also Jack.
And baby Jack. And they have 0 skills between the 3 of them. I'm including the baby.
God damn that baby.
They can't
start a fire, can't feed itself,
do nothing,
can't change itself.
Can't even wipe its own ass.
God damn.
A terrible fucking baby. So Big Jack, Little Jack, and Sue.
Yep.
Lost in the woods. There's a bit where they get poofed by the poof. It like it like farts.
Something, yeah.
And then like 5 minutes later, they just start fucking tripping balls.
Yeah, they're hallucinating like crazy.
And I want to come back to that. I'm going to put a pin in that because I'm coming back to that. That's,
for sure.
That's the thing I want to highlight.
For sure.
So anyway, long story short, they wind up surviving this ordeal. They come across one of the poof's spaceships, I guess, pod.
Yeah.
It just looks like a piece of glass you can't quite touch.
Right.
Which I thought was
almost as if it's like
was interesting.
So it's like a piece of glass that's like stuck in the ground, and then almost as if it starts to maybe form an arch, but then it gets cut off like a fourth of the way.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it looks like.
And they can't touch it. They're going to touch it, and they can't make contact with it.
Right.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
Right.
So they're standing by this thing, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my god, we have cell phone service! Call anybody! Call anybody!
Figure out what's going on!" Yeah.
Yeah. So they make a phone call, and this thing slowly forms around them.
Yeah.
And then lifts them up into fucking space.
And that's it.
And that's pretty much the movie. Pretty breezy, right?
Pretty breezy,
right? So
obviously a lot of things happen, but.
Right. So what are some of the highlights for you out of this? Like what were the parts that you were really like, loving that?
As we mentioned in the beginning, just this couple in general. Perfect casting. Really, really great casting.
They're both so funny.
Both super funny. They just work together. Their on-screen chemistry is
it's delightful.
It's a chef's kiss.
I wonder if they were smushing while they were filming this.
Smushing?
Because I would buy it. If they were like, oh, they were actually a couple when this got filmed, I'd buy it 110%.
Right, yeah. The first thing I wrote is...
they feel so familiar to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure. The first thing I wrote is, we start out with the main couple, and they're all cutesy-pootsy, but they can't stay off their fucking phones.
When they're the day after the party or whatever, they go to that party, they're like, I want to be a better person, and they're drunk or whatever.
Yeah.
It cuts to the next scene, they're just eating fucking chicken wings and ice cream, both scrolling on their phones. Like, yeah, I'm going to start a community garden, really get some dirt under my fingernails. Did you see his hands? Were they dirty? No, but they were worn, you know? They're just such a delightful fucking hipster couple.
They really are,
They're very, very stereotypy. Which also kind of makes them fun for a comedy fiction like this.
But, man, I'm not going to lie. A lot of people get annoyed by hipsters. I fucking love hipsters.
I don't mind them.
I love them.
Don't mind them at all.
The older I get, Just do your thing, man.
Yeah,
Who fucking
fucking
like.
A,
I
dude.
wish I had the confidence sometimes to pull off some of the shit that they wear.
Oh my god, dude.
I wish I had that confidence,
I do,
but I don't. Well, you
I
do
do.
right now.
I'll wear this. I'll wear this to the dollar store right now. What are you talking about?
No,
What you talking about, brother?
What you talking about, brother?
Walking there with drinking an ice cold Miller Lite.
One time we got really drunk at your old house, and we woke up the next morning, and you're like, "Let's go get some breakfast." So we went to the Huddle House, and you put on some basketball shorts and a tie-dye shirt, and I was like, "Is that what you're wearing?" And you're like, "Yeah."
It's Bonterre.
We got there, and I was like, we got to Huddle House, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
This is
I
the
get
vibe.
it.
This is the vibe. It's like if you walk in wearing fucking slacks and a shirt, everybody turns around and looks at you.
Like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Right.
You gotta go.
You must be in the wrong part of town.
You must be from the city.
I tell you what, them city folk, get them a waffle and get them the hell out of here.
All right. So, other things that we enjoyed. I really like
I love all the poof stuff.
the poof stuff. Is great.
When they get poofed by the poof, it's just like farts.
Yeah.
It just farts
And
on them.
but they're sitting in a vehicle. So, I mean, obviously a vehicle can, it's going to suck in that air or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of fun the way it works. Cause you can also kind of like, while they're in the vehicle, you can also kind of see the cloud of poof.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just start acting kind of goofy.
It just looks like methane vapors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's all really well done. The movie itself looks good wherever it's shot. It's supposed to be upstate New York. Maybe it actually is, but what about you? Like, is there, what else stands out?
All right, man. The things that I really like the most are I find the main lead character to be extremely relatable, although him and I have nothing in common.
I think
like the tracks that his train of thought runs on, I get it. Because I don't I'm a terrible listener. I know I am. I try not to be. I try to be a good listener. I'm terrible at it. And he knows that about himself, and I know that about myself. Ergo, we immediately relate to one thing right off the tracks.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff about him where he's like, I don't know. He's like, I just never did these things because I wanted to do these things instead. And now I'm like, fuck. I get that. You know, there's some things I wish I would have learned more about earlier, I suppose.
I think that as men, as a
silverback gorilla.
I also kind of related to him because he's like, I don't know how to be a man, a manly man, a guy's man, whatever. I'm also kind of like that. I don't know how to do a lot of things.
I'm too. When I'm in a room full of dudes and they start talking about sports, I'm like, hell yeah, man.
Well, I like sports.
I'm
just saying
I'm
just saying I look at my uncles and I look at my father and like my stepfather, and those guys know how to work with their hands and do shit and fix shit. And I'm like, I can get by, but I'm like, man, I probably should have learned a little bit more about that. So I can kind of relate to this character in that way.
Yeah,
you were talking about.
He's very endearing, man. I like him a lot.
He means well.
And Sue, his counterpart, she is just cute as a button, and I understand all of his frustrations with her, and then she's adorable. You know what I mean? Like I get that mechanic in it. She's also very sweet and endearing. The thing that I think will never leave me about this movie is, you know how they get poofed and then they're walking through the woods. By the way, the bit where they just see the alien and they refer to it as a poof, and then they refer to it as a poof throughout the film.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, it poofed us. Oh, poof on the roof.
Yeah. Poof on the roof.
All
yeah.
that shit I think is so fucking funny that they just didn't drop the bit. They're like, well, what can we afford for the alien? And they're like, how about this? Because it's $10.
Yeah. But it looks good though.
It does look good. I buy it as an alien species. Intelligent? I don't know about that.
That's what I love about this. That's another thing I love about this is it doesn't matter what it looks like.
It doesn't matter at all.
But it doesn't look bad at the same time. You know what I
Right.
mean? I guess it kind of does matter, but it doesn't matter what its form is, just as long as it looks decent, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
That is exactly correct. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
So the bit when they get poofed and they're walking off in the woods and they're going to change the baby and they start fucking tripping.
Yeah.
And they're about to die. They're about to just straight up fucking die. And she gets some epinephrine pins, EpiPens, out of the bag or whatever. Stabs them both with epinephrine. They pass out and then they wake up later still alive. So that bit about the debilitating hallucination that eventually kills you, I have fucking nightmares about that. I've had fucking nightmares about it for like 15 years where it's always a zombie. It's like a zombie nightmare. But that's the thing about these zombies. If you see like 10 of them, they can like focus some sort of power on you that like just makes you fucking black out. And it is among the most terrifying dreams that I have ever been in. Because the thing that terrifies me the most, I suppose, is not being in control of my own faculties. Which is what's happening in this movie. So in this delightful, lighthearted comedy, there is a bit where I'm literally like goosebumps, hair standing on ends, fucking like shuddering to myself because I've had a nightmare like this. And that's the part about this movie that I will always remember is that little poof, it poofs them. And it's that fucking thing for my nightmares. Like, that's the part that I won't forget about it, man. It fucking fucks my world up. I wish I could describe it as accurately to make everyone go, "Boo, man, that is fucked up." But I don't. I have a nightmare where like monsters can make you fucking black out.
And you have you just have no control.
No, you just like fucking pass out. You're like in a trance or passed out.
That's crazy.
It's like sleep paralysis while you're wide awake in a dream.
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm in the dream, but all of a sudden I'm paralyzed.
That's wild.
Yeah. And then I'm blacking out, like in and out of consciousness in my own dream. It's fucking very disturbing. I do not like it.
You want to talk about this? No, I'm just kidding.
I am. That's what I'm doing. I have a forum. Everybody listen to my problems.
So going back to that scene with the baby.
Yeah.
While watching this, because this is the first time I've watched it, and they're going through this hallucination, I was like, that baby's not real.
Oh, that would have been good. Yeah.
And I kind of almost wish it would have followed that route.
Right. Yeah. Just baby Jack was like a poof plant.
Yeah. I don't know. Like a figment of their imagination. Like
that'd be cool.
Part of the hallucination. But yeah, I almost was like, okay, maybe this baby's not real. But then it turns out to be real. I was like, okay.
Right.
It also works.
When they find his birth certificate and they're like, oh, his name's Baby Jack. Well, that's not very inventive. Yeah, that would kind of add to that. Like, maybe that baby isn't fucking real.
Right.
Because his name is just also your name. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one thing that I was like, I kind of almost wish they would have went with the route that I was thinking.
That could have been a little more mindfucky. I would have got down on that.
So the only problem I have with this, and do you want to keep talking about what are some other things that...
Is there anything major that you want to touch on? Let me skim my notes here real quick. They're leaving. Jack brings his fucking yeast culture.
Jack's got to have his yeast. Oh, one bit I did want to mention is I thought it was funny when they were showering together.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh god, she's like, hand me the face wash, and he's like, which one's the face wash? She's like, it's the orange one. What'd she say?
She's like, what did he say?
Familiarize yourself with the soaps. He just picks them all
He's
up.
like, they're just different colors. How am I supposed to tell? Like,
none of these are labeled.
Because she fills them before they go with her own soap.
And they're singing that little, the adorable scene when she's filling up the soap. She's like, put the big soap in little soap. Big soap and little soap. And then he's like, big soap.
She's like, little soap.
And they're just singing a song. He's in the shower and she's filling up soaps for the trip. It's a great slice of life.
Yeah.
There's a lot of slice of life, but kind of, a little tongue in cheek, kind of extra cutesy in here.
Right.
This is a great movie to watch with your significant other or girlfriend or whatever. Yeah, this is a good date night flick.
It's nice and light.
When they get the gun, his gun statistics are fucking insane. He's like, if we have a gun, I am more likely to shoot you than anything else in this house. She's like, that's true. That's true. Absolutely true.
And what ends up happening? They get the gun and he shoots out a window.
Right.
He's shooting out of a window.
God, he's trying to act so tough. He takes off his shirt, ties it around his ears. He's like, you should probably do it too. Wink.
Right? So she'll take her shirt off.
He's just being extra manly or whatever. He's stepping on the gas a little bit. The bit where they get frustrated, he goes outside to split wood and he grabs a very meek piece of firewood and gets the axe stuck in it. They're having a hell of a time. Man.
It is a pretty small axe, though.
Do they ever get that fire lit when they go out to have
I
a
don't
fire?
think so.
Or they're just sitting
No.
out there in the dark because they can't get a campfire going?
Yeah.
Their ability to not be able to do any of this shit is endearing. I love it.
I like his, another thing I like, what would you call his, so he drinks at night, they both do, and she's like, no, you need to stop drinking because you'll have your...
She calls them night visions.
Night visions.
Yeah,
That's
she's
what
like,
it is.
He just wakes up, he's like, get out of here! Quit looking at my girlfriend!
Get away from us!
There's
But he doesn't do anything. He
No.
just sits in bed and like yells at something that's not there. But
Right.
then one night,
It's the poof.
there is a poof.
And he's like, there's a lion in the room. Because it kind of looks like a lion mane. She's like, oh, you're so big and strong. Just come back to bed.
come back to bed.
He's like, don't eat my girlfriend, stupid lion.
I really like those bits because that happens a few times.
Man, when
That's fun.
there's great comedy, like line delivery is what's really good in this. Not necessarily the line, but the line delivery is what's great about a bunch of it.
Yeah.
When he lays the baby down to change him, and he's like, "Oh, you got a little frown on, huh? You're a little frowny guy." Just it's fun. It's not inherently funny what he's saying, but the way that he's like, "Oh," like his facial expressions are
Yeah.
they're fucking great, man.
Right.
They wind up killing a poof at one point.
What'd they do? How did they kill the poof? I don't remember.
The poof attacks Jack, but he's got that baby Bjorn on and his phone's in his shirt pocket. So it can't blow his heart out or whatever.
It goes for his heart, I guess. But yeah, like you said, the phone is right there. He's got the baby jacket on.
Mm-hmm.
The phone's tucked in. So it's just trying to bite at the phone or whatever.
Yeah, and
Which
she's
saves
just got
his life.
And Sue's just got like a kitchen knife and she's fucking making an absolute hack job of that.
Yeah. So of the tongue.
Yeah,
That's right. She's that part was pretty.
Probably a proboscis, I would think, but jury's out, you know. She's
going to town on that tongue, man.
That fucking
Finally
knife
gets
has
it.
got to be dull as shit.
And I like the way that the poof kind of like disintegrates, though.
It just like just deflates.
Yeah. And it's like,
because why not? Just a pile of fur at the end. Yeah.
And it's almost as if the tongue is a big part of the body too. If you really look at it, I don't know. It's
maybe it's
strange
just
how
like coiled up in there or whatever.
Yeah,
it's a
just
fucking
interesting, man.
It's a weird ass little critter
for sure. Really great job on the poofs.
Yeah. So how many yeast thumbs? If you had sourdough thumbs, if you had 10 sourdough thumbs, all you got instead of 10 fingers, you got 10 thumbs, but all those thumbs are loaves of sourdough bread.
I like it. I like where you're going. I just want to mention the only thing I didn't like about this. I think it needed a third person.
They thought about adding a third person there for a spell when Raph shows up and then he just dies in the yard and they never see him and never address it. But later they're like, his body's still there, by the way.
That was a huge bummer for me.
Yeah.
So that it is kind of funny because like shit starts going down. Raph calls them, but their phones are off. Leaves them a voicemail. Hey guys, I'm gonna come to the cabin. Shit's going crazy here. But yeah, like you said, he gets to the cabin and he is attacked by a poof and is killed.
Oh yeah.
I wish he would have been a part of that film from there on out. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
I think it needed that third wheel to add a little bit more, I don't know, comedy or
a little more oomph. Because you could have had a third person like up until the very final act. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He doesn't have to be a big, like...
He doesn't have to be in the end.
From the end, yeah, he doesn't have to be in the end, but like from where he shows up to the cabin, man, I would have loved to see more of him up until, like you said, the final act or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I think this film is missing. So for me, I'm going to go like I'm like going back and forth between like a 7... like somewhere between like a 7 and an 8, maybe like a soft 7.5, just because I feel like it is missing that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm gonna go 8.
Okay,
I'm gonna go hard 8 on it. I for a second watch, as a thing that I don't think I watched it in its entirety the first time. On a second watch, I was like, man, this is still fun. It's still delightful. Is it amazing? No, but it is fun.
But it's worth
like,
the watch.
If you're ever like flipping through fucking Netflix and Hulu and whatever, and you're like, oh, I've seen all this shit. If you haven't seen that, it's worth a watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Like I said, that's the only thing I could find.
Give me a hard.
I
need a hard sourdough thumb count.
Oh yeah, hard sourdough. I'll go 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
And 8. Fantastic. So that was our first movie. So that was our first movie review for the show. That's called "It's Just Two Movies" because we sequentially we will do another one subsequently. Here in a bit.
You want to try that again?
Yeah. Look, I'm just gonna level with you. I've had like 6 beers already, so that'll do it for the first half of the show. We're gonna go watch another Alien movie that might be bad, might not be. I did watch it when it originally came out, but I don't think I've seen it since then.
I gotta say, I watched the trailer,
Yeah,
and it looks like shit.
Okay,
so there's
great.
that.
All I remember is it's got an incredible cast, and it also has an exclamation point in the title. We're going to watch Mars Attacks, but you probably already knew that from the title of this episode.
Right.
So here's a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back. Oh. Oh, fuck.
God damn it.
Not again. Late night.
Can't fart, but really want to.
Does your tum-tum be big owies?
We've got just the thing for you.
Some products like Gas-X and Beano don't quite live up to their name. But there's another product that'll let you just flap that starfish.
Gas Plus.
Gas Plus.
Gas Plus.
Plus, but like it lets you fart. You can fart, makes you fart better. Gas Plus, an all-new scientifically engineered way to put extra farts in the tube that goes to your butt. We know it's called the intestine. We just want to make sure you know what it's called.
Gas Plus.
Gas Plus. Fucking Gas Plus. Take it and shit your fucking pants.
And now introducing all new Gas Plus Plus with extra dog farts.
Now available in ASMR.
That's a pretty good dog bark, though.
Gas Plus will fuck your shit. Don't be tripping on Gas Plus, baby. Hi, I'm Dr. Dan. I can tell you right now, the Gas Plus, while it is safe in the correct dosage, we do want to make sure that you maintain the proper dosage because Gas Plus will in fact fuck your shit up.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I was wondering. What level of fuck your shit up would Gas Plus be on?
Look, if I had to go, let's say hypothetically I had 10 thumbs that were covered in shit. 10. A perfect 10 shitty thumbs.
Wow. Thanks, doctor.
You're welcome. I'm a doctor. Respect me, everybody. Everybody respect me. I have a license to kill. Side effects include shitting your pants,
diarrhea,
blowing foam,
pussy farts,
fussy parts, pounding pudding,
just plain old shit in your britches,
dropping a load in your drawers,
bricks in your britches,
unleashing a tanker in your trousers,
pooping in the pool when no one's looking,
poo in your pantaloons,
making a mess of your beaver,
and general pant loads.
Gas Plus is not safe for all patients. Ask Dr. Dan if Gas Plus is safe for you.
Don't take Gas Plus if you've had
gas,
poopy britches,
shitty turd cutter,
nearsightedness,
itchy ear,
puffy rectum,
stubbed toe,
constipation,
thirst.
Contact your doctor to see if Fart Plus is right for you.
And by doctor,
Fart Plus,
we mean Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan. He's the only doctor that prescribes this medicine.
In the back of a Dodge Caravan. Brief interjection from your program. I just wanted to throw out a couple of special thanks for the folks that make this show possible. Big thanks to Brad Sexton for our jams, Lamplighter Production for our artwork, Godsized Growing for some musical guest appearances, and Dave, who's our YouTube editor. We probably wouldn't even be on that platform were it not for him. If you want to check out anything any of these amazing people are working on, all of their links are in the description for this episode. If you want to contact the show, you can hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at It's Just Two Movies. We've got a Facebook page now, so that's on there. You can always leave us a comment on YouTube. Or you can email us at itsjusttwomovies@gmail.com. Okay, yeah, and if you like the show, like, subscribe, leave us a review. That stuff helps tremendously. So anyway, back to the show. Yeah, you got it. Now for like 15 more minutes, we're back. We watched Mars Attacks, which is a PG-13 1996 sci-fi comedy of an hour 46-minute runtime. Feeling every second of it. It's got a 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 55% on Rotten Tomatoes, 52% on Metacritic. 83% of Google users like this movie, and I think this is another part where Google really shines as to what kind of people take the time to fill out a Google review for a movie. This came out December 13 release, directed by Tim Burton, music by Danny Elfman, which might have been the best part. What was the budget for this?
So the budget for this piece of shit was $70,000.
$70,000.
No, I'm just kidding. It was $70 million.
$70 million. It made money though, and how would you not?
$70 million.
How would you not?
This?
Dude, I could remake this exact same movie with this exact same cast and make more money than that. But this thing made $101.4 million. Yeah, not a ton. Written by Jonathan Gems. And not like anybody cares, but it was distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. Now, here's the part you're probably going to care about. So this is the cast for this fucking thing. And in a bunch of you, I know we're not like highbrow movie reviewer, like, oh, very into cinema. We're just two dudes. I'm a dude who likes movies, and I like hanging out with my friends, and I like having some beers, and I like watching some schlocky weird shit.
Yeah.
So this is a great excuse for me to do that with my friends. But the cast on this alone.
Bruh.
Everybody good? We having a home invasion? Just kidding. So the cast on this alone, here we go. We got Jack Nicholson, Jack Black, Annette Bening, Danny DeVito, Pierce Brosnan, Lisa Marie. She played Martian Girl, so that's not important. Natalie Portman, Glenn Close, Sarah Jessica Parker, Sylvia Sidney was the older lady. Lucas Haas, Martin Short, Jim Brown, Tom Jones, Christina Applegate, Michael J. Fox, Pam Grier, Rod Steiger. He's a that guy, but if you saw him, you'd know him.
Did you say Lucas Haas?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
You did. Okay.
Paul Winfield. And I mean, honestly, that's probably the bulk of it.
But that's insane, dude.
That is insane. That's insane. And
you know why?
And I don't feel like anybody is trying to steal the spotlight. I feel like everybody's kind of trying to work together to achieve this goal, and then whoever cut this together just didn't leave enough of it on the floor, man, because the effects are for shit.
Yep.
They're kind of charming though, but that charm wears off real fast. Like the novelty of the flying saucer image, I really, really liked it.
It was fine.
By the end of the movie, I'm sick of it though.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, God, there's 15 minutes. There's 15 minutes of this.
And just the sound of it though.
Whatever that fucking
just
noise
loud.
is, ear piercing. I'm of two minds about how we should do this, so I think we're going to do it differently than we normally do.
Okay.
Super fast. Jack Nicholson's the president.
Yeah.
Aliens invade. It's
Yes.
a fucking bloodbath. Eventually, they find a way to combat the aliens, and the humans survive. And then they sing, "Not unusual to be loved by anyone,"
which is
not
so
unusual
strange.
to have fun. Yeah, weird addition. I like the song though, but it's not softening the blow for a bunch of this for me. I like the novelty of the aliens. I think they're a neat design. They kind of look for shit half the time, but I wonder if part of that is because this is from '96, and the other part of it is they made it for, what'd you say, $700,000?
No, $70 million.
$70 million.
I was just kidding.
Oh,
at first
okay.
I said 70,000.
I made a new wrinkle in my brain just now.
It was 70 million.
Ack.
So the whole time in the film, these aliens make this noise.
They're acking.
Ack.
I think it's deliberately annoying.
It is. So this is a part of the trivia. In the script, that's what they wrote, just for dialogue, for future purposes, whatever. They just put, "Hey, this is an alien noise," and it just said ack.
Yeah,
whatever.
like a Kathy comic strip. Ack.
Yeah. And then
Arg.
they couldn't think of anything else, so they just kept that.
They just left it in there, huh?
They just left it in
I'd
there.
have maybe workshopped it for an afternoon.
Man, there's a lot of things wrong with this.
I like the way
like the aliens though?
I do like the alien. I like the way that they are a flirtation with like 1950s black and white fucking sci-fi Revenge of the Monster radioactive crabs. You know what I mean? Like they just look like a rubber suit, but they're like, wait, but we can do them in CGI, and you shouldn't have. You should have just left them all rubber suits.
Well, here's the other issue with that. Here's the other bit of trivia.
Okay, give me a bit of trivia.
Tim Burton, the director, which this is totally him somehow. I don't know.
I don't know if you've heard of him before. He makes a cameo in Chasing Amy.
Tim Burton had wanted to bring the Martians to life via stop-motion animation.
That would have been better.
As an homage to the movies of special effects legend Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah. Ray Harryhausen did actually one of my first like favorite movies that I was like, I'm obsessed with it, and it was Clash of the Titans.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all Ray Harryhausen's work. Wow,
So,
this is a great tribute. This is a good job,
okay.
Birdman.
It's just on IMDb. It's
I'm
not
loving it. No, you did a good job. Good journalist.
So he first considered Henry Selick, who had directed The Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's good stop motion work.
As the right man for the job, but Selick was busy. So they initially worked with a different team of animators, but the studio refused. Go ahead. Come on.
Was he busy making a Snuggle fabric softener commercial? Got him. Sorry, I couldn't contain myself.
Yeah, I know.
Carry on,
anyway,
please.
That didn't work out. They worked with a different team of animators, but the studio refused to finance it because of the costs.
It's expensive, yeah.
So they finally went with a CGI, and I think that's what this movie kind of suffers from. Is the studio was like, that's too much.
It hurt. Yeah, it hurt it.
Even at yeah, exactly. Even at $70 million. So they had a different studio come in to do the CGI, and it's just not good.
No, it's really not.
I think we've done this before, but I kind of like to. You kind of go back to films like Alien, and you compare like what they did in 1970. Was it 1979?
79 for Alien.
You kind of compare what they did.
It's why it's a great staple, because it's right before the 80s, and it still stands up. It still looks great.
It does. So you kind of go back and you compare things like this to that. I'm not saying this is Alien. I'm not saying it's a totally different film. Stylistically, it's got comedy, or it tries to have comedy.
Yeah. It's got a couple.
I'm just saying like aesthetic wise, what they did in Alien for what was it, like $11 million or something crazy.
Yeah. Versus
$70 million. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like
I tell you what I do like about the Aliens. I like the design. I like the color scheme.
Yeah, for like a comedy,
because
the design
they're very like pop art. You know what I mean? Like that's not the word I'm looking for. They are very like pop 1950s colors scheme.
Yeah, no, like when you said it earlier, I was
the bright
like,
yellows and bright greens and bright reds and pinks and all those different colors. They have a good pop look to them.
I think the look works, but
and I expect this. I'm like, look at that little fucking guy. This is going to be hilarious. And then they're just kind of like minions.
Yeah.
Which is a grown man with a child. I have seen the Minions stuff, and I've got to tell you, I'll giggle for about 30 seconds, and then it's frustrating.
And then you're over it.
It's frustrating the rest of the time because I'm like, we're still doing this bit. It's a tight 5. It's a tight 5 that they stretch into an hour 20. So everything that's good about this movie, I'll go out on a limb and I'm going to say everything that's really, really good about Mars Attacks, you could condense into 20 minutes.
Yeah. For real, dude.
Just it being like a short. If it was have you seen Death, Love, and Robots? Or Love, Death, and Robots? Love, Sex, and Robots? Sex, Love, and Robots. It's one of those. I said the title of it at some point during that show on Netflix. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, this Mars Attacks would make a great short for Death, Love, and Robots. Just crammed into, 20, 30 minutes. It just
or hear me out.
Okay, I'm hearing you.
Hear me out.
I'm hearing.
Or you just don't make this movie. because it already exists.
Okay, so I think it's fairly clear that neither of us were blown away with this.
I'm just kidding. Obviously, the movie still has to get made. That's the point of us doing this.
Right.
So, what could you do to fix this?
Okay, I got two things straight away. Number one, I'm leaving the design. I think the designs are great, but I'm doing something different with the look. Like it's got to be practical.
Like the CGI?
Like just make it practical. Just make it a dude in a suit and then green screen him to have more dudes in a suit.
Right.
You know, which is still technically CGI, but it's not totally computer rendered where it's got that kind of odd look about it.
Yeah.
The best look for these aliens in the entire movie is when one of them's on a table getting dissected.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's because it's a rubber model. It's practical.
Yeah.
It's a rubber thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks better than any of the CGI stuff, which is the rest of the film. So just do that. Just do that for starters, because this was made in 1996. They didn't accidentally make this in that vein where it's like pop culture and it's got these weird pop characters and like the guy being the president and the guy that's like also Jack Nicholson but a cowboy.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson plays two characters in this.
Yeah, he's doing a Clumps. Nutty Professor, that's what it's called. He's doing a Nutty Professor. But that's not an uncommon trope from movies of this era. For there to just be like a weird fucking character that's like, I'm going to get rich off this. Woo! But that's not odd. So I get what they're going for, but it's a poor execution.
The way some of it ties together, it doesn't make sense.
I think Tim Burton's not your director for this.
No.
He's got a wheelhouse and he's great in it. I don't think this is it.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I'm gonna say that we can't use the easy answer, which would be Denis Villeneuve.
No, that's
so
not.
We can't use.
Well, here's the thing. That's another question: is do you keep this stylistically? Do you keep it the same?
That's what I want.
Just that kind of like schlocky.
I want a poppy
comedy,
schlocky, real fucking comedy forward, like maybe like a James Gunn, Taika Waititi kind of joint.
Yeah,
where it's serious enough, but also like light and really cheeky and keeping it fresh. You know how they do.
All right. What if? Who was the Naked Gun? Were the Naked Gun movies directed by the same person?
Talking about Leslie Nielsen?
Yeah. Okay, so like David Zucker directed the Naked Gun movies.
That'd be a really good get for this.
That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it just if the aliens looked good in motion?
Yeah.
Or at least looked like somebody really cared.
Right.
Because it looks like they didn't.
It looks exactly how it is. The studio was like, nah, we're not going to pay for that.
Somebody had to edit and render this. So somebody put their stamp of approval on this, but there's some of it that I'm like, I think that is broken. Like right out of that, when they're looking at the dove or whatever, and one guy's head is just like split halfway back. Yeah. And I'm like, that's
what happened to that one?
Where's your in-game physics? Hey, your ping must be through the roof, man.
It was 96.
It was like 96, baby. Yeah, a lot of this, I like where it's going though, because nobody else is doing that. If somebody made, let's say next month they announced a trailer for James Gunn directing a comedy horror film that is Revenge of the Radioactive Crab. Let's say, hypothetically, would you be excited to watch that? You see the poster, and it's poised as like, you know, just absolute fucking popcorn flick from the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
50s, 60s, 70s. You know what I'm talking about? Like the black and white when radioactivity was like, whoa, it can just make things giant and dangerous.
Right. Yeah. So you want to go that route. You'd love to go that route.
I think that's an untapped market. Like, how excited would you be to see a thing like that?
Yeah.
Directed by somebody who's got the vision to bring it to life.
Yeah, and you know it'd be funny.
Because I think this is the last attempt at that I can recall for quite some time. Has anybody else tried to make a pop, 60s, 50s fucking pulp? Just a pulp sci-fi film?
I'm sure it's out there. You know, there are a lot of things that we just
aren't in our purview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that though. I like both of our ideas. Honestly, I think you could go both ways. Like that James Gunn, but I kind of would want to see that David Zucker like
just slapstick
comedy. You know what I mean?
Like, no, I'm down with that too. I'm just talking about the vibe of it.
Yeah,
the James Gunn thing. I wasn't picking James Gunn to direct this. I was just saying if he was doing Revenge of the Radioactive Crab, like if that trailer just came out next month, would you be excited to see it?
Yeah.
I would be fucking thrilled.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think that pop pulp angle from that era.
Mm-hmm.
But done as a modern film with those same character tropes and shit, I think that's a really smart play on it.
Right.
Because I haven't seen anything else like that, and I would be into it. I like your idea with the director from The Naked Gun, though, because I would dial up that slapstick, baby.
That's what I mean. Like I was going to go there next. I like the idea of trying to keep in the same time period, because so the Naked Gun movies were like, late 80s, early 90s. So you would still be able to get a David Zucker in 96. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Keeping that same time period.
You could still get a Leslie Nielsen in 96.
Oh man, dude! If this movie had,
if he was the president and the other guy,
that other guy doesn't even need to be in the movie.
No, I kind of want him in there now. If we're getting Leslie Nielsen,
he's Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny as fuck.
What if he's just Leslie Nielsen with brown hair? Instead of his classic white.
God damn, I love slapstick comedy, man. That's my jam.
Yeah, I do love it too.
Because
you could do a really good dance between what you're talking about and that pulpy era of film, because those types of satires come, like, that's kind of where the tongue-in-cheek behavior in some of those older films is kind of where that comes from.
Yeah.
That'd be a really smart play.
Man, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
It'd be super fun.
Is there anybody else in particular you would get in this?
I don't know, man. That's another thing I wanted to talk about a little bit, is the cast is just so strange. And so another little fun fact is
there anybody you actually like in this? Like, is there anybody you're like, they're doing all right? Because I will say, I liked Pierce Brosnan in this.
I did kind of like Pierce Brosnan.
He was kind of funny. Like, he was having a bit of fun with it.
He was.
Yeah.
He's a cheeky boy.
He is a cheeky boy. He's having himself a good old time. He's having a knee slapper.
It is intriguing to me that Jack Nicholson did not read the script. He just said yes because of his work with Tim Burton previously on Batman. Right?
Yeah. He would have worked with Burton on Batman.
Yeah. So he was just in for it.
Still, when was the last? Have you seen Batman 1989?
Yes, but it's been
a super long time. Was there a time where you saw the Jack Nicholson's transformation scene into the Joker? Because it is still terrifying.
Really?
Like, it's unsettling to just listen to it. His the timbre and quality of his laugh, it's quite disturbing.
Okay.
Yeah, still good performance. So I could see why he was excited to work with him.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate him in this. It just drawn out. They got Jack Nicholson. You didn't make him, he didn't do anything really. He just was a generic president and a generic, like, tycoon type of fella.
And I feel like he was kind of phoning it in pretty hard.
Yeah. I mean, this is not
maybe he's just like,
certainly not his great performance. But it was also fun to see Jack Black in this. so young and trim and fit,
right?
Giving him a little rigagoo.
What do you think the lowest rated movie that Jack Nicholson has been in
ever? Is it this? No,
it's not.
Yeah, I was like, he was in a handful of rom-coms, I think, there for a minute, and
there are a lot of
flopped.
Yeah, there are a lot of older movies he's in that are pretty bad. It looks like, just going through the list. Not really anything we would. Really
He's in some
of.
bangers though. One day I'm gonna do One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest on here.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I've never actually watched that one.
Yeah, okay, that'll be one I'll save for you. Do you mind old films?
I don't mind old films.
Okay.
As long as they're.
It's good.
As long as you think they're worth doing.
I think it's worth doing. Yeah, okay. Definitely. So that's something we'll look to in the future. But is there anybody that you'd be like, who would be really great in this era, in this type of film?
For this movie?
For Mars Attacks?
For
our Mars Attacks.
Leslie Nielsen.
Obviously, like
as the president,
apart and the oil tycoon guy or whatever he is.
I still like
The
Pierce
restaurateur.
Brosnan. I'd keep Pierce Brosnan.
I'm keeping
man.
Pierce Brosnan too.
He was the only
definitely.
good. If you ask me, he was, as far as cast goes, even as incredible as it is, he's one of my favorites, and the only thing I really liked about it.
Yeah.
As far as
Do you know who what I would get to replace Sarah Jessica Parker?
Who?
Chris Farley in a dress and wig. Got him.
Got him.
He'd be great though. Like, and seriously, for Pierce Brosnan to be like pining after him the whole time, even better.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. Dude.
Yeah, that'd be really funny.
I really
shit.
like that.
Yeah, you could probably get some of the Happy Madison boys in this.
And some of these,
because of that era band, that's prime time.
Yeah, that's true.
That's prime time for that shit. If you could get Sandler peppered in here,
yeah, good call. But some of these people...
make Sandler the Jack Black's brother guy.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, you keep Jack Black.
There's almost too many stories going on in this.
I was getting ready to say it's too muddled.
Maybe take an extra one out.
Why is Danny DeVito even in this? I love.
There's no reason. Yeah, there's no reason for Danny DeVito to be in this. There is no reason for Jim Brown to be in this. There's really no reason for Pam Grier, Michael J. Fox. I mean, like, a bunch of these characters just don't really. Nothing really happens with them.
You could take out several of these,
and you wouldn't miss anything.
You wouldn't. Maybe keep the Michael J. Fox. Maybe not even him, but like you have a reporter. You have a seasoned reporter in this.
Also, we were watching this, and I was like, man, if Michael J. Fox never got Parkinson's, we would have gotten some kind of like dark, gritty, fucking Oscar nominee.
Later down the road from him.
Later down the road, yeah, from him as a older fella.
I did read that, like, during this time, that's when his Parkinson's started to kick in.
Mm.
And I think it was even before this film. So, like, his shooting for this film, I guess if you really pay attention to it, you can start to see it.
You can see
it. It's just super fucking sad,
such
dude.
a shame.
I look back on people making fun of him in all of this, and it's like, why? Like, it's fucking...
Michael J. Fox is a fucking great actor.
Yeah.
Like, he really was. It's not his fault that he was typecast, but where he could put in fucking emotion and stuff, he would, and he was good at it.
Right.
If he would have had different opportunities to be like, hey, listen, we really want you to play a impotent serial killer. You know what I mean? Like a grizzled detective whose whole family was murdered or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Just any common trope character for him to just be more intense and to be more serious. I think he'd have crushed it. He just didn't really get that chance.
For sure. This was one of the... Actually, I think it might have been this. Was like one of the last like feature films he was in. Like, he did some TV stuff. But from this to like 2019.
Wow.
Like, there was a huge gap because of his...
Yeah, of course.
Because of the Parkinson's. Like, he just wasn't in much. Which, I mean, obviously that makes sense. But yeah, man, I don't know. Just the way that people fucked with him and treated him, I think, is just super crazy.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
But anyways, what Martin Short as the press secretary. I think we got to get rid of him.
Yeah, I think so too, which is weird because I like Martin Short.
I do too.
And he actually had like one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is when he takes the alien girl back to the thing and he's like, hey, baby. He's doing that whole thing and I'm like, wow, that's a lovely saltwater fish tank. That with nothing in it. It's just water and fish. It's really bizarre to see when you see it in the movie. It's just like weird glass cube full of fish. Because there's no fish shit or anything. There's no pebbles at the bottom. There's no nothing. It's just fish and water. It's fucking bizarre.
Who would be a really funny press secretary that you don't even really see that much?
David Cross.
For that era, yeah, I guess he'd be pretty young.
You could get David Cross in there, yeah. Or...
That would be funny.
Or...
that'd be good. I like that.
Or you could get a Bob Odenkirk. Bob Odenkirk was in the comedy scene. They were doing Mr. Show with Bob and Dave.
Those two, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Either of those guys would have been great for that.
That's funny.
You could get more typecast actors.
I like either of those, yeah.
But I just think that would be a fun addition. Yeah, so I think we pretty well repaired this. I mean, it's got a lot of potential,
man. That's the thing.
And it's got fun pop stuff in it. I like the fucking monsters and shit. Just this whole thing is like, It's just stretched out.
It's stretched out so much.
Like butter scraped over too much bread.
Yeah, it's just, man, too long. Needs some work.
Yeah,
cast wise, story wise.
I think that'd be a good. I think we accomplished a good brush up.
Yeah.
How many fucking if your thumbs were dogs, you had tiny little dog thumbs. You had 10 of them. How many tiny little dog thumbs would you give this?
I don't think people understand that because did we really brush
Flying
on
saucers? We don't need to. It doesn't matter. Flying saucer thumbs? How about little 1950s flying saucer thumbs?
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, you like 10 of them, and they all
because
go,
they'd be getting in the way. So your your thumbs
that would just
be like
break your tarsals or your carpals.
It'd break them things.
Break them break them arpals.
Man. What are you gonna rate this thing?
Because
you're probably gonna go high, and I'm probably gonna go super low.
I'm not gonna go super low, but I'm not gonna go high with it either. I think it's a really good idea. Some work and thought, and somebody who had a good idea what they had going on. There was good design work in this as well. I cannot believe the cast get for this, and it doesn't do any favors for it.
I think it's just because of the name, Tim Burton.
Mars Attacks.
All those people just were like, "Oh yeah, shit, yeah, let's
fucking Tim Burton's gonna do an alien thing. I bet it's gonna be awesome." I'm gonna give it a 6.
Yeah, see, I'm going.
Man, that even feels generous. I'm gonna give it a 6 because I really like the pop art, like the look of it, the pulp comic feel of it. But that is literally like 5 being I was upset that we watched it. 5 is I am upset, and then from 5 to 1 is my level of how upset I am. A 1, I'm probably screaming and throwing shit at the TV and getting frustrated. My face is getting red.
So Birdemic.
Yeah, Birdemic was pretty low for me. I fucking hated that movie.
All right, I'm gonna give this a 4.5.
4.5?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go 5.5.
I did not like.
I was so excited to watch this too. I was like, this is gonna be great, and then it just was.
It's too long. I was bored, and we just came up with a better thing for it, I think. So there you go. 4.5.
Way better. We did the thing. Next segment of the show.
I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, what you watching?
What you been watching, Bird?
All right. I haven't been watching a ton of... I have been watching a lot of Seinfeld.
Still digging on that Seinfeld?
Still? I haven't been watching it for that long. Have I told you about it?
What was the last episode you were on, which came out last week, I guess?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of Seinfeld.
No, there's a shit ton of
9
Seinfeld.
seasons.
Yeah.
I just started at the beginning, honestly.
Damn.
I dig it.
How's that treating you?
I love Seinfeld.
It's good stuff. I do too.
His stand-up's so dry, but it's the show that does it for me. Just like
right.
The stand-up bits, I'm like, eh.
Speaking of dry, I'm going to segue off of that. I started listening to a podcast called Doomsday Podcast, and the host is very dry, but he's got a really great sense of humor, so he peppers in a lot of jokes, but he's got that very dry delivery. And it's a podcast about like disasters that weren't really covered that well, mostly because of like propaganda, like we don't need people to fucking know this shit,
right?
Or like the effort to actually cover up the incident over several years. Not like it's an actual cover up, it's a matter of public record, just nobody talks about it. So that's what that covers, is just genuine disasters. But as far as the dry stuff, so you've been getting in Seinfeld and anything else really?
Well, so I started and finished. I don't know if I've talked about it on the show before. Horizon Forbidden West.
You were playing it last time we talked, but hadn't wrapped it up. So
it's been a few weeks.
How do you feel about it? Give it. If your thumbs were robots, how many robot thumbs?
If my thumbs were like dinosaur robots,
yeah. Let's say they're like a miniature Deinonychus.
Yeah, that's what's in the game
with one giant eyeball.
They're robots, but they're dinosaurs. Kinda.
Yeah, but they're thumbs.
And it's the future, but it's kind of the past because things have reverted to the past. So I would give it if I had 10 thumbs that were dinosaur robots, I'd probably give it an 8.5.
So is this a full game or is it just an expansion of the existing?
It's a sequel. It's a full.
Oh, it's a full on fucking sequel, huh?
Yeah.
8.5, nice.
Yes, really good story.
Mm-hmm. Are you still Aloy
Yes.
in this?
Yes.
Okay, so
You're
same
still-
protagonist. I
yes.
like that.
The only thing I kind of knock it for is some of the combat is still a little frustrating, like the first game. Some buggy, wonky stuff within the game, but I think that's a lot of games now, unfortunately.
That's fucking stupid.
It wasn't.
We could do a whole different
Oh my
podcast on
God.
how they rush video games.
Oh
It's
my
fucking
goodness.
insane.
Silly. I did enjoy it. Good time. What else? Oh, I started reading "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep"
Okay, gotcha.
by Philip K. Dick, which is
Philip
the
K.
basis for
Blade Runner.
and Blade Runner 2049.
Right.
Started reading that. I fucking love it because I love Philip K. Dick. Like, I have his whole collection. Yeah, really enjoying that.
You love Dick.
I love Dick.
We get it.
What have you been up to, Danny?
Actually watched I guess you would call it a black comedy, which was a Dutch film starring Mads Mikkelsen called Men and Chicken.
Huh.
It was, God, I wish I could speak Dutch because I bet most of the comedy is lost in translation.
Really?
It is odd, but it's not what I would call comedy for most of it. It's more like a dry situational comedy, but because you don't speak that language, there's no like line delivery. You know what I'm saying? It was still a really interesting film to watch, though, and I did have a couple of giggles at it, but I kept thinking the entire time, I'm like, I bet this is fucking hilarious. If I could speak Dutch, because it's super fucking weird. It was streaming on Hulu. If you've got, I think I also have the Showtime edition on Hulu, so it might have been on Showtime.
What was it called?
It's called Men and Chicken, like a ampersand.
Huh.
You find it?
Yeah.
And it's not a newer film. I mean, it's a little on the older side.
Yeah, 2015.
But it is definitely Mads Mikkelsen playing against type, which is the reason I was like,
You're like, oh, I'm intrigued.
That's
Yeah.
what piqued my interest, because I don't think of Mads Mikkelsen as a black comedy leading man.
Right. Man.
He's
I
fucking
just-
incredible, man.
Yeah, I keep thinking back to when we did
Another round?
Another
I
Round.
think about Another Round all the time
It's so
because
good.
I'm an alcoholic. I'm not. Well, I probably am.
I think we both probably
I'm
are.
not drinking at work every day.
I work at a brewery, so it's amazing how much I actually don't drink for working at a brewery.
I tell you what I'll do. I'll do this week in particular. I drank every night. One night I had 5 beers. I know, it's pretty crazy. One night I had 1 whiskey and I was drunk.
Off one?
Off one.
Damn.
We had a late dinner and I had a super light lunch. I came home and I had 1 fat glass of whiskey and I was like,
Oh, I'm a fucking stupid idiot.
Right, yeah. I was like, man, what the fuck? And I nursed it too. Like I drank this 1 glass of whiskey over like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I was hammered by the time I was done with it.
Damn.
Slept like a baby. It was amazing.
Yeah, I at least drink a beer every day.
Yeah. That's just, I'd rather have it than like a soda pop or a fucking.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I also drink 1 soda a day, but it's diet.
Mm.
Got to keep it real.
The only time I drink soda is if I'm going to have like a whiskey and Coke. If I just have cheap whiskey and I'm just going to have whiskey and Coke,
Yeah.
it's just a general mixer instead of drinking beer, then I'll have some Coke Zero. But other than that, I just don't drink soda. Haven't in a long time. What else have I been getting into? Man, there was something else I did watch that I was like, ooh, this is good.
Did you ever use the Apple TV I gave you?
I got on it one day and I started flipping through it. And then Alicia was like, oh, we're going to watch this show. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, we are. A couple of things I am looking forward to. So I didn't, to answer your question. Ozark. I watched the second thing of Ozark or whatever. No spoilers.
All of it?
Really good.
All of it?
All of it.
You finished it?
It's over.
Because here's the thing. I looked up the reviews just on IMDb, and you know how IMDb is. It's a little... The last episode...
They're not using thumbs, let's just say that.
Last episode... They don't have 10 thumbs, let's just say that. The last episode, did not have good reviews. But are you
Really?
Are you still
Look, it's not wrapped
Don't-
up with a bow. It's open to interpretation.
okay?
That's it.
Okay.
Because it's not getting renewed for another season. If they were to release a spin-off or
I bet they do a movie.
to release a mini series like 2 or 3 years later, they could absolutely do it.
I bet they do a movie.
To wrap it, to put a bow on it, that would be a good idea.
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, well, it's good.
No spoilers.
It's good. No, it's spoiler free, but
Okay.
it doesn't have it's not like, and they all lived happily ever after kind of thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's open. It's an open ending.
Okay.
Which I thought was fine, but I could see a lot of people really need resolution at the end of a thing, and I don't.
And that's
I like it, but I don't need it.
for sure.
Right.
I think that's why we liked Save Yourselves.
Yeah, because
so much.
the end of it's very open to interpretation. So a couple of things I am excited about. Made for Love, which is a HBO original series, is coming back for season 2, and I believe the first episode just came out this week. Fucking really pumped to watch that, but I am going to wait until it's over and binge it.
Okay.
As we are recording this, I believe the season finale of Moon Knight was yesterday or the day before, and I'm going to binge that this week. I'm really excited. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is out. I intend on going to the drive-thru to watching that sometime this week. So I've got some stuff on my list I'm really pumped about.
Nice.
Yeah,
That sounds
definitely.
like a lot of good content.
A lot of good content. Back in the content mine. Mining for content.
I'm kind of like thinking back to Save Yourselves. Kind of bummed because we didn't really touch on the ending.
Oh, we got time. We got 5 minutes ish.
Another thing so just going back to Save Yourselves, another thing I really liked was the ending. Just not because of the ambiguity or whatever, but just
When they're like, "Are we saved?"
yeah, but it's just such a beautiful moment, like them in the pod
Oh yeah.
and just like floating up towards the atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see other pods.
That appear to have people in them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just I don't know. It's like a really beautiful scene, and don't know what's going to happen because the movie
It's almost like them getting raptured. If it was like a biblical thing, you know what I mean? If there were a religious theme to it, that's kind of the vibe that's going on with it.
right.
It's them and a select few thousand people or whatever. It seems like, well, from their vantage anyway, as far as you can tell.
Yeah, yeah. It's really. I just think the ending it's done really well.
Yeah.
And I forgot to kind of mention that earlier.
Well, that's all right. We still squeezed it in.
We squeezed it in.
Yeah, we squeaked it in there. Is there anything you're looking forward to getting into this summer, specifically, since it's summer break?
Summer break. What am I looking forward to? I feel like there's something.
Anything you're looking forward to getting into? Like maybe these britches?
You guys aren't gonna start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
Let's call that gold talk for a one-eyed Batman.
Can I make a suggestion that doesn't involve violence? Or is this the wrong crowd?
Maybe we should call in a bomb threat to Houston. I think it's free beer night at the Astrodome.
We're Jedi, Bob. We don't fight with guns. We fight with our mind.
Cousin, business is booming.
That is one big pile of shit.
Jog on.
It's Just Two Movies is a production of Blue Cheese and Bacon Studios and can be found wherever you get your podcasts.
Somebody photoshopped this image of her with fucking massive arms.
What the fuck? Why does that exist? Why
I
are
don't
people
know,
so
because
weird?
here's the same image, like the real image, just has regular arms.